Hello, another week. I'm really happy with the intro. I know that it is for some of you, your ads are probably longer or shorter. And so you're like, I have to listen to this intro. But I'm going to tell you, I see when the viewing number jumps. Like I can see when it's like just a couple of people. And then when it jumps, must be when most of the ads end. And that's when I ended the intro. And those of you watching the replay, you can always just click the timestamp in the description to jump through it. Hello. Hi, my name is Laken, and I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to talk about goals and to help you achieve your goals. So let's start with our first question that we always kick our calls off with. What is one? It's not a call, Laken. It's a live. It's a video. Whatever. I feel like I intertwine those words all the time between the community coaching calls. I used to do one-on-one coaching, and I start them all the same way, and that is with wins. So what is one small win that you have to share from the last week? If you're here live, please say hello in the chat and let us know what your win is from the last week or so. Y'all know that it doesn't have to be small. And if you are part of the replay fam, thank you for watching the replay. Let us know down in the comments what your win is from the last week or so. While I wait for those comments to pop in, I will share mine. I got my goals all set up for September. I know it's a little bit early, but I always like to film my goals video. I actually filmed it yesterday, but I typically do it the second to last Wednesday of the month because I'm already ready to go. And so it's just easy. Today I have some other stuff going on, so I couldn't fit it in. So I did it yesterday, but I always want to make sure I have enough time so that the video can go live for you the first Monday of the month. And the first Monday of the month, this next month happens to be the second. So it's a little bit on the earlier side, but I have said this time and again, it doesn't mean I'm giving up on August. It doesn't mean that my August goals aren't going anywhere. I'm going to show you my August goal sheet. We're still working on that. That's still hanging up in front of my face every day. I'm still focused on my August goals, even though my September goals are all set up. I'm ready to go. So let's see what we've got over here in the comments. Hello, my win is I made a live taking a lunch. I am so proud of you for taking a lunch for yourself today, Jennifer. Finally made a live. Joanna, it's so good to see your name. Finish your book club book on time and made it to the meeting. That's amazing. Decluttered. Setting aside 15 to 45 minutes a day in 15-minute increments to get your house back in order, which feels so good. But more importantly, Brittany, you are having a little girl. Oh my God, I'm so excited for your family. Congratulations. That just makes me like emotional for you, even though you're the one with the pregnancy hormones. Congrats. That's amazing. And I love the 15-minute increments. Restarted your sourdough starter. Those of you making bread yourselves, it's amazing. It's funny because I have been on a banana bread kick in our house lately. I don't know if it's just the summer and like our bananas are going bad faster. So we've been having a lot of banana bread. And it's just not the same as like the same amount of effort as like actual bread, right? Like it's more like making a cupcake or cake. I just happen to use bananas and it's called banana bread, but it's like 6 ingredients and it's definitely not as difficult as making sourdough. So I love that. A $600 bill. That's amazing, Sarah. Holy moly. Decluttered clothes and donated them, getting them out of your house. Sometimes that's the hardest part, right? Like I have a pile of stuff. I have 2 piles that are cluttering our bedroom right now. One is a pile that needs to go to like Salvation Army or Goodwill or somewhere. We used to live in New York. We lived within walking distance of the Salvation Army. And when I say walking distance, I mean like half a block. And it was so convenient, like so convenient. And I could take stuff all the time. And now that is not quite the situation. And so getting that pile out of our bedroom, it just hasn't happened. I also have a whole pile of stuff like baby stuff that I've been meaning to take to the storage unit. And I'm like, at this point, not pregnant, but like, I'm like, you know, like, is it even worth putting it away? I don't know. You made a live. Yay. And thank you for always being my example with if your name is different than your YouTube name, I would love for you to include your actual name in the comments. Your win is keeping your kitchen table cleaned off with no clutter. I love that. Awesome. All right, y'all, let's jump in because I have a lot to talk about today. Okay. So quickly, book updates for you. I finished a book this last week. I finished the audiobook I was listening to, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Jew. By Emmanuel Acho, but also with Noah Tishby. Highly recommend. Gave it 5 stars, just like I did his other book, which is Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. Also highly recommend that book. Both books, fantastic. This one in particular, I listened to the other one too, and I love his voice. Like I'll listen to it. This one in particular, if you are an audiobook person, add this to your audiobook list because it's a conversation between two people, as opposed to the other one were questions that people had asked him and he was giving his response. This one is actually a back and forth between him and Noah. And so it is so like conversational, and the audiobook just really displays that beautifully. And I highly, highly recommend. And then I moved back into the other book, the nonfiction book I was reading, The Gap and the Gain, but now I'm doing it in audio style. I talked last week about how I'm kind of letting go of physical nonfiction books for this season of my life. Still chugging through my fiction book, definitely making progress. A spoiler alert, my goal is to finish this book in September. I talk more about that in my goals video. Let me check the comments again quickly. I love this one, Tina. Made date days with your husband during fire season, and I've made 2 of the 3 planned this month. It's hard to be a planner and being flexible with a firefighter husband. I can't even imagine, but 2 out of 3 is freaking awesome. Been focusing on intentional white space. Oh, I love this. I have added white space, or the concept of it, to my content idea bucket list. It came up during a recent plan with me, and I was like, that needs to be its own topic. And so I think that will be helpful for a lot of people. Doing the dishes while watching. JC, I love that multitasking. All right, let's get into my monthly goal check-in. So here is my August goal sheet, snapped picture literally this morning. Again, I mentioned this already, but I filmed my goals video yesterday. So I went in depth about all of these, how I'm feeling about them, what my thoughts are. But I do still like sharing them with you on a weekly basis. So you can see that I have definitely made some progress in the monthly section, finally checking some things off. Some of these aren't going to be completed until literally the last day of the month. And this goes back to what I was saying, where I'm not, just because I've already set up my September goals, doesn't mean I'm giving up on August. But like making the cookies for Lila's birthday, as well as the party prep, the party is September 1st. So all of those things will literally happen August 31st. And my goals are going to go right up to that date. And I'm not going to kick off September until the following week. And I'm going to keep focusing on all these weekly and all these daily things as well. This will still be hanging up. But I'm feeling pretty good about my August goals so far. Okay. I think, let me pull all that down. Are you doing 5 weeks in August on your goal sheet? Yes, I'm going to go all the way through 5 weeks in August. And so what that means for September is I will not be using all 5 weeks in September. I'm just going to do 4 weeks of September. You answer my question. Yeah, I will go all the way through the end. It's, we've talked about this before, and in a beautiful, perfect world, every month would start on a Monday. Like we wouldn't have to have these weird in-between weeks. And I don't necessarily have a consistent methodology where I start or like a particular month. It's not consistent. Like, it's not like, oh, if it's Monday or Tuesday, it's this month. If it's Wednesday or later, no, it is very unique to whatever that month looks like and whatever my goals look like. If a lot of my goals are the same, sometimes I will just start on the new month. But at the same time, like with this particular transition, part of it is it's one day, right? I'm going to lump September 1st into August. And let's be real, September 1st is both my daughter's birthday and a Sunday. So I'm not really all that concerned about starting September on the 2nd. But I even started this a little bit earlier because August started on a Thursday. So this one was hard. So you could have gone either way for that first week. But I always want you to have the option to include it, which is why I include all 5 weeks on the goal planner, just so that everyone has that option to make the decision for themselves. All right. I have a lot to talk about today. We are talking about accountability. So I want to start by saying accountability, and this topic is not going to be your magical solution. I'm going to give you a lot of tips today. There's a lot of tips in this video. There's going to be a lot of ideas. There's going to be a lot of things that you can take away and tangible, apply to your goals. But it is not necessarily going to be the magic solution that you need for all of your goals. You still need to focus on the basics. The basics still need to be there. You still need to pick goals that matter to you, break them down, and schedule time for them. Okay, that's the foundation. In fact, speaking of the foundation, I actually just revamped the welcome here section in the community, if you remember, to kind of incorporate exactly what I'm talking about here. These steps are still important. You can't just pick a goal, take these tips from the accountability tips that I'm going to give you today, and expect that you're going to achieve your goals. These steps are still important, and you still need to do these first. These still need to happen. All three of these still need to exist before we can move on to the accountability layer of things. So I just want to remind you about that. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 layers of accountability. Step 1, layer 1 is accountability with yourself. Now, I'm going to give you tons of options today. Some of these options are going to work better for you because of your personality. Some of them are going to work better for you because of your particular goal. Some of them are going to work better for you because of your budget. Some of them are going to work better for you because of a reason I did not list. This is not an all-encompassing list. You do not need to do all of these things in order to succeed and achieve your goals. You do not even need to do a thing from every layer that I'm going to talk about today. These are just options. I'm giving you a buffet of accountability options for you to take what you need based on your goals, your personality, your season of life, etc. So, some tips and ways to hold yourself accountable, just you, yourself, and you. Get really clear on your why. You have got to know why that goal is important to you. You are not going to be able to hold yourself accountable to following through on those steps unless you are good with the why behind that goal. And where did I hear about this? What book? I think it was in John Acuff's newest book, which was a lot. Like there was a lot going on in that book. I probably could use a reread because it was like almost too much content for one book, but it was called All It Takes Is a Goal. And usually I very much recommend John Acuff's content, but that book in particular, like there's a lot stuffed into that. But one of the things he talked about in that book is that your why kind of needs to be a little vain. Your initial why kind of needs to be embarrassing. It kind of needs to be, and I'm probably not doing it justice to what he actually talked about in the book. It's been a while, but it doesn't have to be this like deep rooted why. Like if your why for having a clean house is so that if your mother-in-law decides to show up, that you're not embarrassed when she comes over, great. That's a great why. If your why for wanting to lose weight is because you want to fit into a specific dress, okay. Your why doesn't have to be this like deep seated, like, I can't even think of another word other than deep reason. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes that is the reason and that can really help you and inspire you and encourage you. But some days you might need to fall back on something else that might feel dumb or silly or whatever. You are not sharing it with anybody else. Nobody else needs to know your why. Nobody else needs to be involved. It's you. I'm talking about your own accountability. So make sure that why actually means something to you. Even if it feels like, don't pick a why just because it sounds good. No, you're not telling anybody else. Pick a why because it's actually your why before you start working on a goal. Okay, the next way to build accountability with yourself is by building your confidence. I talked about this recently on a coaching call, and that you have got to work on the small steps because you got to believe in yourself. You aren't going to be able to hold yourself accountable without believing that you actually can do it. You have to believe that you can do it. And the best way to prove to yourself that you can do it is by, spoiler alert, doing it. And the best way to do it is to have small steps and less goals. So if you are feeling unconfident, if you are feeling unsure about your ability to achieve your goals, cut back. Less goals, less steps. That may feel counterintuitive. You're like, okay, but I need to blow it out of the water no. You need to prove to yourself that you can do the steps. You need to build your inner confidence. Nobody else. This is all about you. Remember that you can do these things. And the best way to do that is by cutting back and making things even smaller and even smaller. You know what's coming next. I want you to track your progress. You know that I'm a sucker for check marks. And I know that some of you are not motivated by check marks. And if you're not, that's fine. Again, this is a buffet of options, and this one is just not for you. However, if you are inspired by check marks, have it in more than one place. Have different trackers. Have your goal planner that you track your goal progress that I show you. Let me show you. I've got more. I am telling you things that I actually do, right? This is my workout tracker. I also have this. I also use the Habit app on my phone. So I also have that going on. What else? Like I have a tracker here about going through photos. Like I love, my Kanban board. It's another way that I track things, right? I have so many ways that I track goals. And so there are some steps and some goals that I track and check off in like 3 places. Oh, I mean, my planner, it's also a whole bunch of check marks. So like there will be times that I will do a work step. Let me tell you. So there's a work behind the scenes project I'm working on right now. I have it on my goals, on my planner to do today. I have my actual like breakdown of the project where I'm checking things off. And then I also have it as a sticky note on my Kanban board. So when I do a step today, I am going to get to check it off in 3 places. Now, to some of you, that may seem ridiculous. You might be like, Laken, that's just unnecessary. You don't need to check something off in 3 places. And here is why. For me, I do. Because the daily planner is me seeing the progress I've made today. It's me seeing the steps that I'm taking today and what I'm working on. The project plan is me seeing where I'm at in the overall project. How far have I made it? What step is next? The Kanban board is my plan for the week, and it's my progress for the entire month, and I can see my progress for the month. Again, it doesn't take me that long. I understand that some of you have felt, and I've been there too, where I've gotten in the trap of planning instead of doing. This is just my system, and it works for me. And it may seem like a lot, but I promise you, if you find the system that works, you'll find the groove and the balance for yourself. The other way to use tracking as accountability is by just writing it down. What I mean by that is don't try to change anything. Don't try to make any adjustments. Don't even set a goal, but actually track the information. This is used a lot with people that are starting with nutritionists by actually just writing down what they're eating. Don't try to change it. Don't try to make adjustments. Just write down what it is that you're eating. I've done this before with, I'll just escape my head, but I'm doing it right now with 2 different things. One is my Apple Watch rings. And all I literally did was download a free calendar from the internet, freecalendars.com, downloaded it, printed it out, and I'm writing my Apple Watch rings numbers. It's not a goal. I'm not working on this, but by the act of writing it down, it is making me think about it. It's making me more thoughtful. It's holding me accountable, even though it's not a goal. And then the other one I'm doing is my screen time. And then I also worked with somebody in the community who was talking about just like going to bed. What is it called? Where you like stay up late scrolling instead of like actually just going to bed. And you know that you want to go to bed and you want good sleep, but then you just stay there and like scroll your phone. So she started just writing down what time she was going to bed. There wasn't a goal. There wasn't a plan. It was just literally like, I'm going to write it down every day. And that would encourage her to put her phone down and actually go to bed. Okay, I'm going to have to keep talking faster and stop with so many examples. We're never going to make it through. This is going to take up the entire call. 2 more, accountability with yourself. Set a timer. Time yourself. Say 10 minutes. How much can you get done in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the number is. Brittany was talking about that in the wins, doing 5-minute increments. Set a timer and hold yourself to doing whatever it is that you need to do just for that amount of time. And then the last one is to set a deadline. But find a way to make it non-negotiable. Don't just be like, I'm going to do this by this day. Find a way to make it. This one actually could go in the other levels as well, because you might need to tell somebody else about your deadline. But setting a deadline is a really great way to hold yourself accountable. Okay, next level of accountability is accountability within your circle. So these are within the people that you know. These are your friends and family, spouses, roommates, children, parents, whatever. So ask somebody that you live with. I promise you, they want you to succeed. They want you to be successful. So ask for their help. Ask for their support. I am really bad at this. Sam will constantly tell me that y'all know more about my goals than he does. I don't tell him about my goals. Now, the good news is at this point, I don't necessarily always need him. Like I need him in other ways and not necessarily in supporting me with my goals. But if there is a goal that you have somebody that you live with, ask for their help. It's more my examples that are popping up into my head are the other way around. I, for example, always fill up Sam's water bottle first thing in the morning. I get up before him. I'm filling up my own water bottle. It takes me 1 extra second to also fill up his water bottle. And then his water is ready to go for the day. And then I will also if he's not on a call and I can't get in there and steal it, if I'm filling mine up, I'll also just go fill his up. It's usually not all the way empty, but that's okay. He's working on his water intake because he has asked me to help him with that. Ask the people that you live with what they can do to support you and help you with your goals. Another option is find a buddy, a friend, a family member working on the same goal. Have somebody and I don't necessarily mean that you have to do it with them. I mean, if you can, that's freaking awesome. But even just that you're doing the same thing. So I have talked about this before. You don't necessarily, and you probably aren't going to have like this perfect, friend or relationship, family member that's like, you are my go-to for all my goals. We have all the same goals. And so you're just going to be my goal person. Now, if you have that, awesome. I love that. However, for most of us, I have different friends working on different goals that are similar to mine. I have a friend who also owns a small business. When I have business related goals or wins or whatever it is, I talk to her about them. I use her as accountability. I share things with her. I tell her, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm going to do. And here's when I'm going to do it. And I use her for that accountability. I had a friend who I was planning a wedding with at the same time. And her wedding was 2 months after mine. So it was like, what are we doing? What are we working on right now? And holding each other accountable to getting those steps done for our wedding. And then subsequently pregnancy and now babies. And not that necessarily we have goals in terms of like babies, but we did when we were pregnant. It was like, is your registry done? Or your invites, your shower invites set out, like, et cetera, et cetera. Having somebody working on the same goals as you can always be helpful to bounce ideas off of. And it does not have to be, it's not a you win, they lose, they win, you lose. That's not how it works. We all win. We can all win. Find somebody who's working on the same goal as you. The other thing is find somebody who's working on a different goal. Find somebody who is just working on goals. Somebody that you can say, hey, I want to go sit at this coffee shop and do this online course. And they want to go sit at this coffee shop and read a book because that's their goal, is to read more. You can get together and work on your goals together, even though they're different goals. You can still have friends that hold you accountable, even if you are working on different goals. But utilize your circle. I promise you that I actually have this on here. The people in your circle want you to succeed. And I promise they will be willing to help you, even if they don't set their own goals. It's like the next part. You might feel like nobody in your life sets goals. And that could be possible. It could be possible that you don't have any close friends or family members that set goals. And maybe they'd be interested if you approached them and said, hey, do you want to set goals together? This was the first year that my little sister actually like reached out to me and was like, can you help me like set goals? Can you help me? Can we talk about my goals? And she started using the planner and like has actually achieved a lot of amazing things. In case I actually haven't talked about it here, my sister launched a business, which is amazing. And I'm so proud of her. This was the first year. So never say never. There could be people in your life that maybe they just aren't there yet. But even if they don't want to set their own goals, I've told you this before. My mom's not a goal person. She's not a planner. She's not a goal person. The only time she ever makes a list is for Christmas and vacations. Otherwise, it's just like day by day. And that doesn't mean that if I ask my mom, hey, I need your help with this thing because I have this goal, that she wouldn't be willing to help me. I promise you, the people in your circle want you to win and they want you to help. This is a great point and question though from Rennie. I have a hard time asking for help. I will take the burden on completely by myself and instead get burnt out and frustrated. Deep-rooted expectations from the past, but that's not how your husband is. And that is absolutely the case. And I think asking for help from a like help standpoint in terms of tasks is a complete other conversation. That's not what I'm getting at here. I'm not saying to like ask somebody to help you, take a task off your plate in order for you to get things done. We can talk about that another time or later on if we want to get into that topic. What I mean is asking them for help with accountability. That's what I'm getting at, is saying, hey, husband, I said that I'm going to be in bed by this time. Can you please hold me accountable to getting in bed at this time? I've also learned that my circle has created resources and recommendations, especially since I've moved to a new location. Absolutely. Where did I hear has great resources? Yeah. Where did I hear this? Somebody talk about this. Like, if you think back to like some prior version of humanity, the phrase "it takes a village" came from it actually taking a village. We are not meant to do things by ourselves. I just went through a bunch of options to hold yourself accountable, just you, yourself, and you. And those can be helpful. But at the end of the day, we need each other and we need support and we need a village to do lots of things and to be the best versions of ourselves. Okay, last tier is accountability with a group or a professional. This is the one everybody goes to first. This is the one everybody assumes. And don't get me wrong, this is very helpful. And I'm going to give you some ideas here as well. But sometimes this is not always an option depending on what the goal is. So sign up for a class or lesson. This one's pretty obvious. You sign up to go to an in-person Spanish class, and that's going to help you focus on learning that lesson. Now, don't get me wrong, Duolingo is amazing, and you could do that at home for a lot less money and a lot less time. But are you going to stay accountable to it? If the answer is no, then maybe you need to go in person. Maybe I've been watching too much Emily in Paris and her in-person French classes. And maybe you'll meet a cute boy who also is learning French. A workout class in person, you would be shocked how many in-person lessons and classes exist. And, the irony is this starts at a young age. When you're not even the one in control, because I didn't sign Lila up for swim lessons this summer because I was like, we have access to a pool. I don't need to swim inside. I can do all the same activity, like all the same things we do at swim classes. And I'm not going to say I didn't do them at all with her this summer, but I definitely didn't do them as much as we would have done them had we gone to swim class all summer. Which reminds me, I need to put that back in my calendar. Swim class starts so soon. So soon. Okay. Anyway, wow. I just realized that I made plans in the middle of swim class in a couple weeks because I forgot to put it in my calendar. Oops. We all messed up. Okay. Next one, you hire a coach or a professional. Okay. Sometimes this is the best option and you just need it at the beginning, right? Sometimes you just need an extra bump of accountability at the beginning to kickstart that momentum. It may not be feasible for you to hire a personal trainer through your entire fitness journey, right? That's expensive. But maybe at the beginning, you just hire somebody once a week to help you feel comfortable in the gym. Or maybe you just hire a cleaning service to get your apartment or your house back to baseline so that you feel good, like it's clean and now I can stay on top of it, right? Sometimes you just need that extra layer of accountability from a coach or a professional at the beginning to kickstart that momentum to keep you going. I think sometimes we get in our heads that this is a unnecessary thing. Like this is something I shouldn't be spending money on. Where did I just see this recently? Where somebody said that they felt guilty spending the money on themselves for something when like their family, that money should be going towards something for the family. And while everybody's finances are different, I don't know your budget, I don't know your family's finances, and I'm not here to tell you like you have to hire a professional in order to be successful. That's not the case. However, if what is holding you back is that mental block, that guilt that you're like, oh, instead of spending this money on me for a personal trainer, our family should be spending it on XYZ. Go back to that why. Go back to that why is this important to you, and think about how the ripple effect of your mental health, physical health, emotional health is going to then impact those people that you love, that you're feeling guilty about. The same goes for time away from them, by the way. Okay. Final tips. Couple final things related to accountability. Let's talk about rewards, because this is one that I also hear a lot. People talk about like, I'm gonna set a reward and I'm gonna buy myself. And this is something that works really well when somebody else is in control of it. I literally was listening to a podcast this morning where they were talking about, I don't know how I feel about the actual situation. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it, the example, but they were talking about having a reward system. And like, if somebody does something, you get them a massage. And that is something that has been like, we've been doing that with people in our lives for years, but we struggle to do it with ourselves. We struggle to say like, if I do this, then I will get this reward, without just like buying it and instead like just buying it, or saying I don't have the money to do that reward, whatever it is. So a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't have to be that expensive. It doesn't have to be some extravagant thing to motivate you. It just has to be something you're excited about, something that's important to you. Use somebody else to keep you honest. Ask somebody for their help, whether you actually go ahead and buy it, but you can't have it. You give it to somebody else and they can't give it to you until you do X, Y, and Z. Another thing that I always try to do is I relate the reward to the goal. So for example, if it's a fitness goal, do I get a new fitness outfit? If it's a reading goal, do I get a new book? If it's a house goal, do I get a new plant? Like have the reward relate to the goal. And then there's a typo here. If you can, have it be an upgrade. That has helped me in the past without just going outright and buying it. So I've done a lot where I get a new pair of sneakers. Well, I have a pair of sneakers, but they're old and kind of falling apart. But I don't actually it's not having it or not having it that's keeping me from buying it. And having it be an upgrade as opposed to just something that you don't already have. The next thing, when you are struggling with accountability and you're trying to think about how to hold yourself accountable, besides all these options that I've just given you, ask yourself these questions. What has worked for me in the past? What has worked related to my goals? When have I followed through on my goals? What have I done before? And even if it's not the same exact goal that you're working on, think about what has worked for you. We're all different. We're all motivated by different things. So whatever has worked for you in the past possibly could work for you again in the future. So ask yourself, when was I motivated? When was I accountable? And see if you can apply that to your current goal that you're struggling with. And of course, last, certainly not least, I have a community all about accountability. That is the purpose of the Goals with Laken community. And I'm actually on a mission to make some changes and some little things and tweaks to help hold you extra accountable, because I know that that's the layer that I can't just teach and talk about, right? It's an ongoing thing. I can tell you about these basics all day long. I can make videos about picking goals and breaking them down and scheduling them. I can make those. And I can make videos about accountability, but I can do it a lot better. And that's what the community is all about. So, okay, that was a lot. I have a couple comments. Let me look at the comments. Any questions, thoughts, comments on the topic before we move into the Q&A? I think pandemic times has made people forget how many in-person things are an option. Yeah, I think we all got so good at sitting at home that we forget, no, let's go do things in person. Stop doing virtually. Who was I just talking about that? Where they were we don't have people come in person anymore because we offer a Zoom option. Well, maybe it's time to stop offering a Zoom option. Can you or anyone in the group expand on guilt? Maybe a book, TEDcast, podcast. It is my number one limiting factor when making progress with your goals. So unfortunately, guilt is definitely, I can talk a lot about mental struggles, but some of it is really best suited for a professional, right? Somebody who is licensed to talk about mental health. I can't necessarily think of a book or a TED Talk or a podcast off the top of my head, but what I will tell you is, based on this is my experience, my personal experience with guilt, is the knowing what you're getting on the other side of it. We are good at focusing on what is the right now. And what is the right now is what you're giving up for that, that is causing you that guilt. And whether it's the finance example I gave, it's time with your children or whatever it is, or whatever you're giving up, that's what's in front of you right now, your eyeballs. What you're getting by going and doing something else or buying something else or whatever it is, the benefit to that is intangible because you can't see that. You can't feel that. It's theoretical. It will exist. It will be there, but it is still theoretical. So what I have had to do is take that theoretical benefit on the other side of the guilt and do my best to make it tangible. Do my best to bring it to this side of things and say some of it has to be, I'm trying to talk about this without giving too many like really personal examples. But where can you find evidence in the past for yourself? And if you can't find any for yourself, try some of your close friends or family members. And where is the evidence that that theoretical can exist? And pull that evidence to you. Write whatever you need to do. Do you need pictures? Do you need to write it down? Do you need to talk about it? That's one of my things. I need to talk about it. I need to say it out loud. I need to say, once I do this, even though I feel guilty about it, here's what it's going to look like on the other side. And here's how I'm going to feel. Here's how that's going to impact this person and this person and this person. And I'm like getting a little emotional. Here's why it's important. Like, here's why that feeling I'm going to get on the other side is more important than the guilt that I'm feeling right now, and even might feel a little bit during it. The other thing I will say, again, for my personal struggles, is to ask yourself, who are you feeling guilty for? And then if they are old enough, ask them, do they actually feel that? like that's like a uncomfortable situation. It could be a conversation that you've got to like work through, but like, I'm feeling guilty that so-and-so, whatever. Ask, like, do they feel guilty about that? Like, or is your guilt real? I guess you still feel it. You still feel it, but are you creating their feelings? Are you creating their emotions from a place that doesn't actually exist, and you're making it up? And that has helped me a lot too. It's not easy. None of what I just said is easy at all. But hopefully something about that helps. This is a great recommendation. Thank you for this reminder. Brene Brown, Hookham, talks a lot about guilt and shame. She has books and TED Talks. Yes. Her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, love, highly, highly recommend. And yes, she does have a lot of books on guilt and shame. I think guilt is mostly associated with expectation, and determining whose expectation is causing you guilt will help redefine your priorities to include your goal without guilt. That's the most beautiful, eloquent way of saying what I was just trying to say, Anne. Thank you for saying that. Because at some point, other people's expectations are not your responsibility. That's it. That's it. I can walk now. Like that is what it is. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's beautifully said. Thank you, Anne. Brenda, hopefully some of those were helpful for you. I think it also kind of stems back to that first jump can be really hard. But then once you do it a little bit, it gets easier, and a little bit and a little bit more, and it gets easier. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Also, I love this idea from Allison. I got 5 friends and started a mastermind. We meet once a month over Zoom to discuss gratitude and goal progress. I love that. All right. We kind of jumped in a little bit already, but the rest of the time is yours. Q&A. Feel free to ask any questions. It can be about the topic, but it does not have to be. It can be about whatever you want to talk about. It can be about your individual goals. If you have a question or a struggle or a breakdown, something that you need individually, ask. You're here live. You're able to ask. If you have a question, oh, that reminds me, there was a question on last week's live that I wanted to talk about. I will go pull that up at some point. You can always leave a question in the comments of the prior live, and I will answer it on the following week. If you don't know how to phrase it into a question, you can always just put topic, whatever is on your mind. Did you get your camera working again? No, I did not. My camera's still broken, and I still have not purchased a new one. Y'all, cameras are expensive. When did the technology of cameras decide that it was going to be so expensive? TVs have drastically dropped in price since technology has gotten there together. Cameras have drastically increased. So no, for now, I'm just still using my phone. I know that the sound is not as great on my phone. The quality actually is probably better than the camera I was using. The annoyance of me uploading it is annoying, but the camera is still broken, and I still have not decided what to do about it because they're so expensive. And while videos and filming are a big part of my business and my life and my job, they're also not. Like, it's also 4 videos a month-ish, 4 to 5. So is that worth the investment? I don't know yet. When is the vlog coming regarding the day in the life when the camera broke? That's Monday's vlog. It'll be up on Monday. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Oh, well. A little bit back to the topic. That's partially why I said earlier about asking for help. Other people's expectations always do me in. Some of that comes from being made to feel like I was never doing enough in the past. And Brittany, this is what I was talking about a little bit with like some of our guilt, emotions, struggles, all of those things. I am not going to be able to unlock for you with a pep talk and some tips on goals. Like some of it is going to have to be worked through with a licensed professional. And that it is what it is. But just know that you're amazing and worthy and you're growing a beautiful baby girl. Okay. Joanna, I didn't set any August goals. I either need some motivation to set some or permission to try again in September. So first off, you're not alone. Somebody was on the call, the goal setting call last night, who had said said that they also didn't set goals in August, but they were there on the call to set goals for September. So at this point, it's August 21st. I would ask yourself, what are the next 10 days, the last 10 days of August look like for you? Is it busy? Is it calm? Is it like, what's going on? And if you feel like you want to kind of roll in and start off September, I would set goals now for the next like August into September, if that makes sense. So you're not setting just September goals, you're setting August and September goals. Like I would set the goals now and start them now, but don't worry about redoing them in like 10 days. However, if you feel like you need a little bit more time to rest, like whatever it is that you felt like you didn't need August goals, let it go. Take the next 10 days, read, rest, relax, set your September goals. And it's just 1 month. It is just 1 month. If you like, I'm trying to think of like a tangible example for this, but nothing is coming to my head. But I want to give you like a numerical, like mathematical example that if you, over the course of 12 days, right, one of those 12 days, you didn't drink enough water, you're not going to fall apart, right? Or one of those 12 days you didn't get a good night's sleep, you're still going to function. It's just 1 month. And if that is what's holding you back, like, I guess my question is, Joanna, which one of these do you really want? Do you want me to motivate you to set some right now and get started on goals tomorrow? Because I know it's already nighttime for you. Or do you want me to give you permission to rest for the next 10 days and start in September? What do you want? I'm hoping that you're going to answer, but maybe if you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer, but I'm curious. Cameras could be more expensive because the demand isn't great since cell phone technology has improved for photos and videos. That's possible. That's very possible, but that's the problem. Great topic today. Great questions. Ask ourselves and figure things out. I hope it was helpful. I don't really know what I want, but both of those ideas were helpful. I think you don't have to, like, I don't know the answer for you, right? I think go with your gut. Maybe you need to flip a coin, but pick a decision and just go with it. Neither decision is wrong. They're both options. Neither decision is going to make or break all of your goals. Pick something, stick with it, and be confident in that. Okay, hold on. I missed some of the questions up here. Oh, this is camera stuff. Hi, Lisa. You should see if your library lends out cameras. My library has a library of things that includes cameras, GoPros, board games, and even beach chairs. Interesting. I haven't been to the library in a long time, like in person. I use the library all the time on my phones and my devices, but I haven't been in person. But I'll have to go take a look at that. Okay, I missed where did that question go? From Adrian. Struggling to finding the right planner situation for current life. Do you have questions I can ask to figure things out? So somebody asked a similar question last week, and I pointed them towards a video that Cindy created, which, by the way, my fellow Cindy friends, did you see her update? Makes me so, so happy. So happy for her. Anyway, she made a video about picking a planner that's very practical. It's very much like vertical, horizontal, coil bound, not coil bound, thick paper, thin paper, whatever, like those decisions. And I haven't watched that video in a long time myself, but I do always point people back. So definitely I recommend that video. However, I think your question is slightly different than what her video provides, which is yours is about the current season of life, which I feel like could be an interesting topic that if I had more time to like think about, I could probably come up with more, but I have a couple things that are just like rapid fire popping into my brain. Ask yourself, how much time do I have to dedicate to my planner? And keep that in mind when you're picking one, right? If you are somebody who likes color, which I think Cindy talked about in her video, like color, black and white, but you don't have time right now, maybe you pick one with color so that you don't feel like you have to decorate it. Portability, I think Cindy talks about that, but that's another thing that relates to your current season of life. Like, are you taking it with you or are you leaving it at home? I think asking yourself how much space you need on a regular basis. Like, can you get away with a weekly layout, or do you need more space every single day, or do you need a fresh start every single day? For me, part of having a daily planner is not about the amount of space, but about being able to rip it off and fresh start every single day. That was the big, for me, light bulb moment from a weekly into a daily, was being able to start fresh every single day, because life changes all the time and a weekly just wasn't doing it for me. Those are the things that pop into my head right away. I would watch that video. And I would also consider trying something and just reminding yourself that the hard part is that I think there's a lot of trial and error with planners and planner systems. And unfortunately, with the cost of planners and planner systems these days, that can be really tough. And so finding like downloadable printables for you to try out. And I don't even just mean mine, but other companies have them too. I know Simplified has them on their website. I think Moxie Life has them on their website. Like, you can download pages and try them out. And that might not be what you ultimately want, where you want to be able to have a physical product, but you can at least see if that works for you before you invest in something physical. Your partner's away for the last week of August, so you could have a bit of a reset. Sounds like a good time. I would maybe think about what that reset looks like for you. Like, what are the things you would like to revamp, reboot, and get yourself down to like baseline? Okay, there's a couple little small. Would you ever go back to the Power Sheets or any of the Cultivate What Matters products? Definitely no plans to go back to the Power Sheets. I love my goal planner that I've created. It's perfect for exactly what I need. And so that is what I plan to continue. In terms of other products, I just am trying not to buy products, period. We have a lot of other big financial goals. And so we are really on a mission to not spend money on extra frivolous things, says the person who just bought. Is my daughter's first birthday party an extra frivolous thing? It's getting a little out of hand. If you're curious about the theme, I posted it on Instagram this morning. Adrienne, perhaps a notebook might be best for the season of life. So true. Okay, I feel like there's still some back and forth in the comments about the guilt conversation, which I feel like is awesome. I'm going to pop these up. I know the live chat saves, but if you're like me, when you watch a live back, I don't look at the chat. So I want to make sure I share these. Brittany said, I've been in therapy for 3 years and gotten divorced, so you're getting there, but it's definitely a relatable feeling. You are not alone, for sure, not alone on these feelings. And when I say like a licensed professional to help, I 100% mean like it is not going to be fixed tomorrow. Like, just because I can't fix it doesn't mean someone else can. It's still going to be something that you're going to work on. And that is hard. But I know that you can. And Brittany, I felt the same way. It was quite relieved of that guilt issue when I discovered that boundaries are a normal thing and with the truth bombs today, and how to adjust my life to honor myself and my needs. That's beautiful. Okay. Lisa Marie, I know you mentioned you are not having trouble reading the ACOTAR series. Who's your favorite character? That's a tough question. And I don't want to dig too much into the answer because I feel like there could possibly be spoilers in my answers. But at the same time, I want you to know where I'm at in the story, because I feel like there were people who I also don't want to give this away, but think of some of your favorite fantasy TV shows. You might have had a favorite character at some point that by the end of the show, said character was not your favorite character anymore. If you've watched Game of Thrones, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I'm afraid if I tell you who my favorite character is and they end up doing something terrible, what then? But I think Mor right now is my favorite character. I'm obsessed with her. Your daughter is only going to have one first birthday, so it's not a frivolous thing. Thank you. Okay. Example, I always track my cross stitches and set monthly and annual goals, but in July, I didn't track because the month was a bust. I still stitched and know about how many stitches I did. I don't know if is there another part to this? Sarah, I just started reading this one. I should have skimmed it quickly. Sarah, is there another piece that didn't pop up? More is a good one. Cassian is mine. Especially, he gets even better. Okay. This gives me a theory that I have in my head. I'm halfway through the third book, in case you missed that at the beginning or you didn't know. But this gives me a theory that I've been playing around with in my brain. Okay. JC, if you have your clear pencil pouch handy, you know what it was? Because Lila was playing with it. It's in her toy bucket. So this is what it looks like. I'm obsessed with it. I have one that I keep in my backpack for pens, and then one that I keep in my makeup case for brushes. I mean, it holds a lot. Let me just grab some markers for you. It's a great question. How many pens does it hold? Let's see. We can get this. That's probably its capacity. I mean, there's still room if you had something else, but from a marker standpoint, that's probably the capacity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. So let's probably say 20 would be comfortable. You could fit 20 of anything. I mean, and these are mild liners, so they're pretty thick. If you have thinner things, you could probably squeeze in more. And most importantly, this was really important to me when I was picking the length, is that it is long enough for the zig dot markers. So. Okay, holy moly, it's already 54. Any last minute questions? Oh, Sarah. But skipping 1 month doesn't hurt your overall goal. Absolutely. And even if you stopped doing something for a whole month, you can pick back up. Life happens. We have months and ups and downs all over the place. Any other questions, comments? I appreciate all you keeping it flowing today. This was fun. I think this was a really, really helpful episode. Video? Can we call them episodes? Maybe that's what I should have been doing for the last 4.5 years. This would be episode y'all, we probably would be on 1,000. Easily. Because it's been 4 years. And I mean, yeah, I've missed weeks here and there, but y'all, that's crazy. Episode 1,000 of Lattes with Laken. Can you imagine? I feel like I want to go count them. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay. If there are no last minute questions, oh my gosh, that is so true. Episodes reminds me of when Amy Landino called her videos Amy TV. Yeah, and she called them episodes. Yeah, that's not the vibe I'm going for. Take it back. I take it back. Okay. Final question for you. What is the one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? What is the one step you're going to take to keep making progress, to check those things off? What is the step that you're going to take that you are going to commit to? I'll know. Doesn't have to be big. Small progress. Take that small step. What are you going to work on this week? Mine is to finish party prep. I have a whole separate, I've got lists on lists on lists, but I have a whole separate party list of things that I need to finish. Here's the list. I need to finish going through her photos. A playlist. I need to figure out what Sam is going to wear. I have outfits for me and Lila, but not for Sam. The cookies, and then like make and grocery shop. Essentially what I've got left. I've got to put up all the decor at my mom's, but she's having company this weekend. So I can't start decorating until her company leaves on Monday. Finish your registry, especially now that you know it's a little girl. Set September goals. Take the next week to rest, reset where you're at, and prepare for September. I love it, Joanna. You're going to have an amazing September. I'm so pumped. And September almost starts on a Monday. It starts on a Sunday, but we can all fresh start. Although it does start with a holiday for those of us here in the U.S. That Monday. You can start Tuesday. That's what I'll be doing. Anybody else? If you are still here watching the replay, thank you. Let us know what it is that you're going to be doing. Finish plans to travel for your grandson's second birthday. I love that. Designate someone else to take pictures so that you can be present and enjoy the party. I appreciate that suggestion. Thank you. Dinner with new friends on Saturday. I love it. Y'all, by the way, his theme is to NATO. Stop, Sarah. That's the cutest theme. I just saw one that was to infinity and beyond. I love that for a theme. There's a lot of fun two puns. There's a lot of fun one puns too that we didn't do, but I love that. I love it so much. We have good friends who have twin girls. I think I've talked about them before. They just turned 2 and their theme was tea for 2 and it was a tea party for them. It was so cute. So cute. I am a sucker for a good theme pun. All right, y'all. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. See you next week.